Check my chat. All right, I think we are connected. How's it going, y'all? Thanks for being here. We're gonna do some codes today. How do you feel about that? Oh, plugged in my charger on my phone. If you're on TikTok, you can head over to Twitch or YouTube and see the full screen. It's kind of dim in here. One of my lights went out. Cool. So, that's what's going on. So we are going to start by creating a new database entity. Here we're in a Prisma file. I guess I'll kick up the application and show you the state of it. So BlitzDev, we'll start the dev server. Blitz.js is the framework we're using. You can learn more about the fantastic Blitz.js framework at blitzjs.com. blitzjs.com. Oh, before we kick off, advertisement for myself. If you want to learn to code, check the link in my bio, book a call with me. If you already code, follow the page, hang out with other cool developers. Thanks for being here. I don't have an external sponsor, so that is one way I can make money. Cool, so it looks like the dev server is live, so let's refresh localhost 3000. Ta-da! I want to learn how to get a job. I heard that. Check the link in my bio. Yeah, a lot of people will teach you to code and then they don't actually help you with the job search. It's like, we actually need to land a job. That's super important. I agree. And I can help you with that. Check my encoder settings. Oh no, it dropped keyframe. If it starts lagging, let me know. Is this a Docker container? I am not using a Docker container on my local. Vercel will run a Docker container at deployment time, but I don't directly interface with it. I could if I wanted to, but I prefer not to. So you see right here, I can click the wish lists, and people can make their Christmas wish list. Here's John's stuff he wants. I guess there's nothing on the list. Let me put something on the list. World peace. Oh shit, I can't spell peace. Okay. Yeah. View all items on the wish list. John's stuff he wants, world peace. And that navigation is working pretty well, right? None of it's pretty. This is nowhere near final state. Oh, party over in YouTube. What up, what up? Yeah, if you're on TikTok, you can search my same username on Twitch or YouTube and see the whole screen. Okay, so that is how we get to the wish lists, and you can see in the URL there, it says /wishlists. That's this to wish list button. Now, if I click two parties, this is what we're gonna work on today. If I click two parties, it doesn't work. 404, because I have not built it yet. So that's what we are going to fix, and how we start that. How would you be able to see the parties? Well, parties need to exist. So right now, they don't even exist in the database. There are different ways you could attack this. You could mock up the screen and do the data last. I'm going to do the data in the UI all in one shot because that's what the Blitz framework enables. So I need to find my schema file. It's going to be under DB, schema, Prisma. This is a DSL, a domain-specific language. That domain is the Prisma domain. So a domain is just like a collection of related ideas, a domain-specific language. An example would be HTML or SQL. These are DSLs. CSS is a DSL. They're not full-fledged programming languages. They are specialist. You can think of them as specialist programming languages or syntaxes. Sometimes they're not even writing programs. They're just special declaration syntaxes. So this is used to declare database entities. That's what this does. So Prisma will take all of these and turn them into really complicated SQL queries. But doing these is a whole lot easier than doing the SQL queries. So that's why we like it. Oh, this is the wrong this is the wrong Prisma schema. You see it says SQLite and Kahneman, so that's a different application. So I'm going to control P, Welephant. That's Welephant, and then I can fuzzy type Prisma, and VS Code will fuzzy type over there. How would you compare Prisma to GraphQL? They're different. GraphQL is a client-side query language. Prisma is an ORM, an object relational mapper that helps you connect and interface with your database. Let me show you something Theo said. This is really important. GraphQL is not a replacement for your ORM. Theo, GraphQL. I think this is not the video. It's the video where he rants about people are using GraphQL the wrong way, and I agree with him. GraphQL should be used on the client. It should not be used on the server. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to find his thingy. I don't know if I'm going to find his thingy in a timely fashion. Y'all should go follow this guy. This guy's great. And he has a YouTube channel where he recently ranted about GraphQL. Let me go to his YouTube channel. This is the same guy, Theo. Tra-la-la-la-la. I don't know, maybe it was an old video that I just like stumbled into recently. I feel like this is going to be a rabbit hole that I don't really want to go down. Yeah, look, TLDR, GraphQL should be used on your client, not on your server. You should not use your server to connect. Yeah, okay, maybe it was this one.
Or service.
Yeah, you see right here? This is where GraphQL goes, between the client and then your server, which can have a resolver gateway. It does not go over here between your server and your database. We do have server-side and client-side GraphQL, right? Shouldn't do it. You normally use GraphQL, like people do that, and it's a bad idea. You normally use GraphQL as a way to query your ORM, right? We use GraphQL as a way to access data stores on the client. It can't do everything the ORM can do. Your ORM can get like much more sensitive data. And then your server is going to be responsible for going, okay, which of these am I going to allow the client to query? So your server can do anything it wants. It can touch all of the secret data. We don't want to give all that to GraphQL. So GraphQL gets special access to like special things that are exposed to them. It's, yeah. Can Prisma generate client-side type defs? Server-client data agreement is nice. The answer is yes. The answer is yes. So if I go over here and I say blitz Prisma generate, it's going to take the same schema file that I use to build my database, and it's going to use the same file to generate TypeScript strongly typed definitions that are going to be great for my IntelliSense. It's going to be great for my life. Hey, if you're getting anything out of the video, smash like, subscribe, send it to your uncle, and let's do some actual coding now. Okay, so let's use Blitz. So we saw the page that we're going to build. We're going to go build that page. How are we going to do it? We're going to use Blitz to generate the database entity and CRUD, create, read, update, delete, GUI pages, all in one swoop. All in one swoop. This is wild. Watch this. So we're going to do Blitz. If I can remember, what is the syntax? Generate all. I think it's generate all. Let's check the docs. RTFM. So I'm going to go search. I'm going to go generate. Blitz generate. Right? You can shorthand it Blitz G if you want. Blitz generate all. Okay, I was right. And that's going to build the model in Prisma syntax. It's going to build queries. That's one I forgot. It's going to write the queries, mutations, and the TypeScript, JavaScript pages for the GUI as well. Please use TikTok Live Studio since you're on Windows. I don't have access. But follow my channel and send it to all your friends. And if you give me enough followers, hopefully they'll give me access. I wish I had it. Trust me. In the meantime, you can go over to Twitch or YouTube, search my same username, and you can see the whole screen. Because, yeah, the little camera phone camera is kind of a pain, isn't it? Good news is I'm getting the new iPhone, so that'll have a wider view range. So we're going to blitz generate all, and then it's going to be called project that wants the singular. So mine will be party, and we'll see if it can handle the Y case. So Y pluralization in English, you have to change it to IES instead of YS, right? That's always one of those tricky edge cases for an ORM or a code generator. So blitz generate all party. Now we need to tell it what we want. So the party is going to have a name. That's going to be a string. What else is it going to have? A party is going to have, I wrote myself a little GitHub issue. Remind me later. Yeah, this is not the one. Oh, by the way, it's open source, of course, so you can go check it out. Welephant with a W, Welephant. I've heard a lot of good stuff about Blitz. It's fantastic. It is my framework of choice. Hello from TikTok. What's up? I love that. This community rocks. Y'all make me happy. Okay, now what I'm looking for is the party assignment. No, the party entity. This is what I want. Thank you for the likes. Okay, so it has many wish lists. Indirectly through participants. Ooh, I need to create a participant entity. So let me create the participant entity first. The participant entity basically has a name and an email. A name and an optional email. Yeah, it is a name and an optional email. And if the email is populated, it links to a user. That's the idea here. Cool. All right, let's do it. So we're gonna do the participant first. Generate participant. Generate all participant. Name, string, email. I don't know if I can use the question mark here. Let me double check. I might put it in as a string and mark it as optional in a second movement. Check out DBDocs. You can easily generate a cool ERD model right from your Prisma schema. Ooh, we love that. Great call out. Easily generate a cool ERD. That's fantastic. Ooh, I kind of like this though. Admin products, imagine party / participant. I think, that might be kind of overcomplicating things. Let's just move on. So the participant model fields. This is where I want to know, can I put a question mark? Ooh, there it is. Like this. For example, name string question mark. That's exactly what I want. So email string question mark. I think that's all I want. At least it's all I can think of right now. So let's do this. The good news is if you get it wrong, you can always edit it, right? It's just code. It's just helping you build code. What website? The one that I'm building is Welephant, Welephant. Do I want to update my database? Yes, please. Cool, and you can see at the bottom there, it generated this model, the participant model. It has the name of the string, like I mentioned. It also has some other fields. ID, created at, updated at. And then over here on the left, it created all of these components like a form to create, delete, update. It created all of this stuff for me. I'm gonna leave that alone for the moment. Cool how you're generating a model right from the CLI. Yep, totally agree. We need to reset the database. Do you want to continue? I'm going to say no. Okay. I'm going to have to do that again in a minute anyway. He's building a wish list app, I think. That's correct. That is correct. You can check the README out. GitHub Vanderveer/Welephant, Welephant, and you can check out the README and it will explain it. But basically, it's you have parties. And people at the party have wish lists, and you can like get each other gifts and stuff. Kind of like Secret Santa, if you're familiar with that idea. Oh, and I don't want to type this. Okay, so now that we have participants, let's generate parties. Let's generate all party. Party's gonna have a name. That's gonna be a string. It's gonna have, I guess I should spell out the word string. It's gonna have notes, which is an optional string. Shouldn't the wishlist participant relationship be MN? So participant is going to link to a user. So I haven't written it here. Here, I'll put it to do. So the user has many wish lists. I don't want the wish list to be directly on the participant. The idea here is that you can invite people to your party even if they're not users of my application. Does that make sense? Yeah. What language is this? So we're working in the Prisma DSL, which is it's its own domain-specific language, but the application is using TypeScript, and it's using TSX for component declaration, which is TypeScript. It's React with TypeScript, so it all compiles down to HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Those are the three web development languages. JavaScript is the programming language. The other two are for structure and coloring and stuff. Style. Thank you for the follows. Shout out to Joey. This is Prisma. It's an ORM. Yep. Yeah, right here. This one in particular is Prisma. To do if email is populated, try to link to user. Okay. So here we're going back to the party, right? So we have the party has a name. It has notes. It's going to have Ooh, should I say notes or note? No, it's notes. Yeah. And then participant. This part always confuses me. Do I say participant or participants, plural? But I'm going to go with the singular, and then I'm going to try to make it a participant array. Now, technically it's an optional because there could be a party at creation time having 0 participants, unless I can think about the party creator is automatically a participant. Then you would never have an empty array. I'm not going to do that. In practice, you might administer, manage, create an event and not attend it yourself. That's one reason. That's like a business reason or a product reason. The other reason is, well, I guess that's the main reason, isn't it? That's the main reason. I don't want to populate you by default as a participant, mainly just because I'm not sure that you're a participant. How can I contact you? Check my bio. Check my bio on TikTok, or visit me on Twitter. Yeah, check my bio on TikTok. I have a link. It points to all my socials and everything. At some point, I want to get a QR code on my hat, and I can just be like, scan my hat. But it's better type-wise to have an array than an optional array. Bingo! So who is this? Wes Kobe. I'm going to follow this person. So they anticipated what I was about to say. So I was going to say that I'm putting it as an array rather than an optional array. Basically because like I'm totally fine to have an empty array. It's totally fine if it's empty. And that is, then I don't have to deal with the null case or the empty case or the undefined case. It gets me, like, I can rely on the fact that it's an array, and I can rely on the methods available to me, like length. I can just trust that I can check length on the participant attribute. What are you making? So in the title of the TikTok video, you can see the word Welephant. That's spelled W-Elephant. And that's what we're making. So you can check out GitHub and check out the README, and you can learn all about it. Basically, it's an app that helps plan parties. When you say framework, you mean a framework is a collection of tools that helps you build something. So just like in construction, we have frameworks, right? In programming, when we talk about a framework, we're usually talking about like special libraries of code. And these are like pre-made code packages that like other people have made, but we can use them, and it really makes us build stuff a lot faster. We're kind of like standing on the shoulders of giants, if that makes sense. Thanks for the follows, y'all. Over 1,000 likes. I love it. Okay, so we know that a party has a name. So if I create a party, I'm going to say, oh, then it also has a creator. So a creator has to be a user. It's a single user. So a party has a creator. It's going to have a created at, but you can see that kind of like gets built for free. So it's going to have a creator, a name, notes. Notes is like, here's an example of a note that I would say about my party. Please keep your gifts under $50 for the White Elephant gift exchange. Oh, and by the way, you know, I don't know, take your shoes off when you come to the front door or something like that. Or like, if you're having a hard time parking, you know, these are all notes for the party. It's going to have a creator. What else will it have? Let's check my little GitHub notes to self. It's going to have many participants, many wish lists, but this is indirectly through the participants. Okay. Boolean has gift stealing. I wrote it as a snake case, but I think we're going to want it to be a camel because it's idiomatic for JavaScript. So I'm going to say has gift stealing, and that's going to be a Boolean. We're going to say, and there was another one, has gift stealing, has gift assignments. Has gift assignments. That's another Boolean. Hey, John, do you teach eloquent JavaScript from scratch? No, I don't know what you mean by eloquent JavaScript. Maybe I'll have to check it out. Has date field assignment date, which relates to has gift assignments, has a creator, has notes. Okay, great. I think we're good. So let me make the assignment date. And then we can see it's actually going to be a date time. Is there an RSVP feature? There should be, right? Let me make a little issue for that. We're not doing that immediately. Ooh, yeah, the participant should be able to say, okay, you're a genius. Who is this? This is, oh golly, I can't say your name, sorry. I'm going to call you Desi. Eloquent JavaScript is an excellent book and online resource for learning to program. Cool. I mean, so says Veronaut. I would refer people to Codecademy and Free Code Camp. These are like pretty well known, but yeah, maybe eloquent JavaScript is cool. I don't know. So let's make RSVP feature. Bro should be able to, okay, so let's say as a human, bro should be able to do the thing. That is an optimal user story. Fight me. Fight me. So actually I want to say to do RSVP Boolean. We can just go ahead and do this. F it. We can just do this now. Has, and I can see created at is following the camel case idiom. It's not following snake case. So I'm going to say has, what does RSVP stand for? Reserved. Respond if you please. So I'm going to say has responded. I just don't like to say has RSVP. I don't know, maybe I'm dumb. I'll say it's French. Ooh, we love French. I'm so bad at French. Okay, cool. So has responded is going to be a Boolean. I don't even want to say, like, they can like respond and be like, I don't want to go, right? So I'll say has responded. Does RSVP mean like you confirmed? Or you can also like RSVP no. I will say has confirmed. I'll just make two because I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know actually how to code or how anything works. Y'all should just stop watching me. But I'm glad you're here. What programming language is this? This is the Prisma domain specific language. Okay, so we got the participant. Great call out there, y'all. Now, has gift assignments the date. The date was the last thing. So this will be the assigned or like gifters assigned at. I'll just say assigned at. That's going to be a date time. All right, look at all those fields. Bam! Build it. Build me the code. How's Upstart with the current market? I mean, what do you mean, how is it? It's great working there, if that's your question. The stock's way down, if that's your question. This is not an investment show. I'm not going to give you investment advice, sorry. But I'm a big fan of Upstart, for whatever that's worth to you. Run Prisma migrate dev to update your database. Yeah, boy. Oh no, look at all the things that broke. RSV status, pending, accepted, or rejected defaults to pending. That's very smart, right? So then we would be using a single enumeration concern instead of two booleans. I'm kind of here for it. Yeah, it's a status. It's a status. You know what? You get a cookie. You get a cookie. All right. Veronaut. I'm going to go ahead and give Veronaut a follow. From job perspective, not investing. Yeah, from a job perspective, it's great. As an engineer, my experience has been really great there. I encourage you to apply. Hit me up, DM me if you're trying to apply. Okay. Right, like a status field could make more sense. I wonder, let's see. I wonder if it can handle the enum. Or I'll call this participation. I'll just call this participant status. I'll just call this status. I wonder if I can give it a string literal. So let's see. Cookie. Do they hire internationally? Leslie, what's up? The answer is I don't know. That's my honest answer. Sorry. I really don't know. I should know that, right? I should totally know that, but I don't. So pending or accepted or rejected. Yeah, it's I wish I had a way to do this. Okay, let me check Prisma DSL string enum. That would be great if I could do a string enum, but I really don't know if I can. Scalar types, including enums. Ooh, so they're going to implement as a scalar. Dun, 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 dun. Ooh, look at this. Do we have an enum? Let's try it. If we can get this to work, that's going to be awesome. Okay. So I'll have to implement this as a participant status. Okay, and we'll create enum. This could be overcomplicating the model, right? So I'm not sure this is a good idea, but it's a fun idea. And that's good enough for me for now. Okay, so we're going to say pending, accepted, rejected. I'm going to do alphabetical, accepted, pending, rejected. Oh golly, what did I do? I think I broke something. There are commas in here? There's no commas in here. That's a wild syntax, isn't it? Okay, it knows. I control click. Look, it can see that it's one of these. I'll default. Here's the default. Default is pending. Does that work? Do I need to do it like this? Default. Does that even work? I don't know how things work. Error parsing default is not a valid value of the enum specified. Okay, what if I do it like that? It thinks it's a valid value somehow. Yeah, I like declined more. Oh yeah. Rejected is like so offensive. Oh no, I got rejected. Accepted, declined, pending. Cool. Suspended. Yeah, there should be other statuses like fighting and winning. Let's see. Blacklisted. Oh no. Let's do will. Can I do an underscore? Will wrestle. Will arm wrestle. Will fight. Will fight. Okay, cool. So will fight is a special status when you're not only attending the party, but you're willing to participate in a pillow fight, arm wrestle, or you're possibly going to be in a bad mood. Any of those will put you in a will fight status. Injured. Oh no. You know what? Actually, you're joking about the injured thing, but like it might be a kind of a seriously good idea to have like a with accommodation status. Does that make sense? Oh, maybe a maybe. Do I want a maybe status? Let me know if y'all want to do maybe in the chat. Yes or no. I'm going to do it, and then you can tell me if it's a bad idea. LMNOP. Okay, so let's move on. That was kind of fun. But let's leave it alone now. And then the default is pending. Okay, this kind of works. Error creating field creator and model party. The relation creator on model party is missing the opposite relation. Run Prisma format or add it manually. Okay, so of course I'm going to do Prisma format because that's way easier, right? And then you can see it adds the party relation right there on the participant. Oh no, sorry, Blitz Prisma format. Boom. Should have updated what? Creator, user. And then, yeah, here's party, which really should say parties, shouldn't it? Parties. Cool. And it should also have user participation, user participants. Participant profiles. participant profiles. I'm going to call it that. And so that is participant. And you see on Control S, I have the auto format set up. Do you not need @ users? Not sure. Are we excited about next 13? For sure. There's a lot of things coming down the pike, and they're always, and for like years there have been, right? A year, there doesn't go by really a year for the past 4 or 5 years that there's not something cool at the ECMAScript level, at the React level, at the Next level, or at the Blitz level. Like there's always really exciting stuff going on in the space. So I'm really excited to be in this space. Okay, so we're gonna try the status pattern. And I want to make sure it works. So I want to create a couple database records and make sure that they get populated appropriately. Why are you adding the participant relations to the user instead of party? Well, it should be both, right? So basically, this is basically an intersection entity for user party. This is an optional intersection entity for user times by party. Does that make sense? I'll specify participant is basically an optional intersection entity. Okay. So here, party has participants. So the party has participants, and then the participant is both a participant of a user and a participant of a party. Now, I would say that party is really not optional here. Am I thinking through this correctly? Help me think through this. In my opinion, if you are a participant, you definitely have a party. And then you may or may not have a user. And this is going to depend on if your email is populated. Right, so imagine this, you're creating a party and then you put in your buddy Sarah, you put in Sarah's name and her email. The system, in theory, could shoot her an email and says, hey, you've been invited. And they could go into a sign-up flow. Or they already signed up and they can RSVP. I think party instead should be the intersection because it's many-to-many relation, right? Many-to-many. Let's see. Many participants go to many parties? No. No. Participant is not a many-to-many. A participant is a participant of a single party. If that's confusing, I could call it I could just give it a really long name. Maybe that's what I should do to make it really clear. This is like, you're a user, and you're a user who got invited to a bunch of parties. But, like, I don't know, you're only going to some of them, or something like that. Oh no, what happened? Participant is the joiner. Okay, yeah, maybe joiner is the right word. Cool. I think I said like an intersection entity, but yeah, joiner, that makes sense too. I think I've heard it called like a through table as well. Although through table can also refer to like a history table, and this is not a historical, well, I mean, maybe it is, but that's not the intent to be a history entity. I wonder if it kind of accidentally is a history entity. Kind of. It's not really the purpose though. Okay, so we have all the things. Now we have participants and parties. Party attendee. Yeah, you know what, Anthony, that is a good, that would be more clear maybe, wouldn't it? Party attendee. Party animal. Gosh, there's some winners in the chat today. Party animal. I'm really tempted to change the entity name, but I'm not going to do it. We're going to leave it as participant. Cool. So at this point, before I fix anything, I'm just going to commit, because look at all these code changes, right? So I'm going to say feat init party and participant entities. entities. Cool. So we're going to stage all that. Oh gosh, I shouldn't have clicked stage. So I have Husky hooks, so like staging and committing can take a while. I'm going to commit here on the command line so that I can pass the no verify, which will skip command not found. Oh, it's git commit. Sorry, I'm bad at everything. Come on. All right, I have to do it all over again. Oh, maybe I don't. Heck yes, I'm a genius after all. Okay, and no verify is going to skip the Husky hooks. Yep. And then I'm also going to get push, no verify. Basically, my Husky hooks run like a linter and they run my test suite before I push to GitHub, which is a pretty good practice. But I'm kind of in a hurry, so I ain't got time for that. Is this VS Code? Yeah, you bet. Thanks for all the follows. Look at all these follows. Morta, Sales Salim, Wild Kids Life, Dairy, Cubing Addict. Quick reminder, you can go over to YouTube or Twitch, search my same username, and see the full screen. This is part of like a 9 or 10 part series at this point. The whole thing is on a YouTube playlist. The views, what's up? Also, while I got you here, quick plug, if you're interested in learning to code, check the link in my bio on TikTok. You can email me, set up a call that way. That's one of the ways that I make money off this, like, I don't know, work I do and time I invest, because I am not like sponsored by anybody. So cool. So now let's go way back to the Blitz dev server. So now what we want to do is really test the string entity. So I'm going to F5 refresh. I'm on Windows right now. I know, it feels bad. I know. I'm trying to set up a code space on GitHub. How much per class? Oh, there's a bunch of questions. Free pair programming, maybe. Yeah, maybe for a little bit. I don't know. Depends how much time you need. How much per class? It depends. It's based on time. It's not based on number of classes. Bro, have you ever clustered an entire Kubernetes? That's the best question I've ever been asked, maybe. Ogar, over on Twitch, says, hi, what's up, what's up? What language are you using? TypeScript. Okay, so remember, we wanted to fix this. Let's click it. Oh no, 500 cannot read properties, undefined reading count. Okay. So check it out. It's a 500. It's not a 404. You can see in the URL parties. So the application is recognizing something should be here. So it did not miss on the pluralization Y problem, where I tell it I'm creating a party table, and it needs to understand that the URL becomes parties. So the system understood that. That's great news. Well, let's go over here. We're going to refresh and read and see how we got an error. So we got this get parties call. We can see it's a 200 status, HTTP status, and we have an error down here. So we're getting our information about how to fix this. MySQL, no, it's Postgres we're using, not MySQL. How can I create a website? Follow the page. I talk about that stuff all the time. We're talking about that now. You can check out the Blitz documentation to start with, maybe. For a beginner, I think GitHub Pages is a really great option. So what is TypeScript best for? Websites? Yeah, I think so. It's good for other stuff too, but I think that's probably best. Okay, so we have this. Let's read. It says type error. It's a type error. You see that? Cool. So literally, it's telling us what the whole problem is. This is why we love Blitz, we love React, we love Next, we love TypeScript, and React Query, which are all the tools that are being used together here to float this error up for visibility so that I can see it very clearly what's going on. So the get parties call is going to be a query. It's the name of a query. And if you remember over here on generate, you can see this is a generated entity as a query. So model, queries, mutations, pages. So this is a query, and it's going to have its own file, which is named similarly. So I can go right there. I already have in my mind where that problem is and what that problem is about. So it's going to be a file like getParties.ts, and there's going to be a problem with the count property. Now, before I go check in the code, I want to educate myself on this error stack as well, which we can see is coming from next. Okay, and we can see it's in the parties list inside of a suspense block inside of the parties page. So the good news is there's a parties list, there's a parties page. So the code generation was largely working, but it's getting tripped up somehow on this count property. So let's go figure out what's going on there. Okay, so, and by the way, parties page is again going to be its own page. It's going to be its own file. So there's a couple places I know that I can check. So let's go check pages/parties, and I'll go over here to the index. Okay, so this is like the main parties page. When it says index, it means the one that goes at literally /parties, as opposed to a particular party page, which would be like /parties/5, as an example. That would be a specific party. And we can see on the page in front of us, I'm getting some errors. And so these are probably the errors we're dealing with. Now, I also want to check out the get parties query, and I can control click. VS Code will navigate me over there. And this is that problem. This is the get parties query. So, previously, if we looked at DevTools on the inspect in Chrome, we see these two error vectors, these two places that are floating us information about the problem, right? And it might seem like they're two independent things, like maybe I'm getting two different problems at the same time. Well, what we just noticed is one is inside the other, actually. So thinking about this from a root cause perspective, what's causing what? We want to go all the way down to the root. So if one is inside the other, where should we look first? We should look at the one that is inside of the nest. So here's the whole page. Inside of the page is the query, because this is the page code, and here's the query call in the page code. So I'm actually going to go look at, it looks like there's a problem in both cases, but I'm actually going to investigate the query first because it's deeper down, right? So I actually would not be able to tell if I fixed the page, because I could get rid of the page error and the thing would still look broken because there is this messed up query. Cool. All right. So I'm just going to go from the top down and try and get rid of all the red squiggles. That's how sophisticated I am. Now, what I'm noticing, it says it has no exported member. The code is telling me, basically, this type does not exist. It's saying, bro, you think you have parties, but you don't have any parties, bro. That's what this is telling me right now. I can control, yeah, and IntelliSense is saying, like, this does not exist. So what this is making me think, let me kill my server, Control C. What this is making me think is that I didn't update my type definitions. Because you can see that thing is like it doesn't exist. So I'm going to blitz Prisma generate. In theory, this is going to update my type definitions. We'll see. Okay, so it says it succeeded. Regenerate Prisma client. Yep, exactly. It says it succeeded. VS Code itself has some caching. What that means is I've been hanging out on this page, on this code file. In the meantime, I changed my type definition. So VS Code might not actually be aware. So I might need to clear my VS Code cache. I might need to close VS Code. But sometimes just visiting the parent type will cause it to internally reload the page, or like internally reload the cache file definition. And you can break the cache just by visiting the page, basically. I can see it's here now, right? So regeneration succeeded. It's right here is the type definition inside of my node modules. What are you trying to build? Welephant, Welephant. Check it out on GitHub, Vanderveer/Welephant. Whoa, this is way over my head, but cool to watch. Hey, thanks for being here, Alex. Quick reminder, you can go over to YouTube or Twitch, search my same username, and see the entire screen. I know it's kind of hard to see on the phone, right? Okay, cool. So now that we are very sure, here is the type. I'm looking at it right here. Now, I want to go back here, and even if it tells me that it doesn't exist, I know that it exists. And at that point, I would know we have a caching problem, an IDE problem. And I would take steps to handle that. However, you can see it already fixed itself. Now it's going, oh, I totally know what you mean. And in fact, as I scroll around the page, I'm seeing no errors at this point, right? So I do not think this query is a problem anymore. Let's check the index page, and now we're looking around the index page. Oh, here's a red marker. And so at this point, the red markers on get parties are telling me they're providing, and you remember there was red markers all around this block previously. Now it's looking good. But there's a couple other red markers. So I'm going to try and fix those. And when those are gone, I'll expect my web page to work. Does that make sense? Nice, thanks. What's up, Fabian? Glad you're here. TS is JS with better signposts. You bet. That's a great description. So I'm trying to hold the control key on Windows. This would be Command on Mac. And I'm trying to get VS Code to tell me that I can auto-navigate to the show party page. It's failing. It's failing to do that, which means to me, this is not properly imported and referenced. It's not properly imported and referenced. So I'm going to Control C, copy that on my clipboard. I'm going to try and Control P, Control V. I'm going to try and look for this as a file name of any kind, query, mutation, page. Nothing comes up, right? Now I'm going to Control Shift F, Control V, enter. And I'm going to look around. Where is this thing defined? So I'm basically going to manually search my code base. Where's this thing defined? It doesn't show up anywhere, but that does not give me much confidence because VS Code search on Windows is just not very good. It has caching problems. Sorry. What I'm noticing is that this is a routes definition. So I can control click the routes. So let's do that. And I can Control F, Control V, and here it is locally. So you see, and now let me go back. I bet this will have flushed the cache in the same way. And now the red mark is gone. Actually, both of the red marks are gone because they were both to do with routes. And now I can Control click and auto navigate. So this is basically also a Prisma type generation problem. Or in this case, this would be a Blitz type generation problem because the router is provided by Blitz. So it was the same problem in both cases. Apparently, previously, when I tried to generate all that stuff, I made those participant and party entities. Apparently, I either skipped generating the types or those types changed or broke or something. So literally just recreating the types seems to have fixed all my issues. Now, before we celebrate too early, let's try and run the dev server. By the way, I'm a software engineer student at ASU. Congrats. I hope everything is going well. I hope your end of your semester is not too stressful. Definitely hang out, follow the page, and if you want, you can connect with me on LinkedIn and stuff too. Windows is generally not good for programming. You're right, though. Okay, so it looks like the local dev server is up and running. So remember, here's the old 500, and I'm going to take it up a notch. I'm not just going to refresh. I'm going to right-click, empty my browser cache, and hard reload to get all fresh static files from the server. Oh no, we still have an error, but it's a different error. This is what developers call incremental progress. Incremental progress. The junior developer might see error after error and get really disheartened. The senior developer knows if my IDE, the errors have been eliminated, the IntelliSense is working, the references are working, the module imports are working. And if the error changes, this is actually a very positive sign. It means we solved a problem. We solved a problem, and yes, there's another problem to be solved, but we're making progress. Different errors are a big relief. I agree 100%. Plum caramel? Plum caramel. That kind of makes me hungry. Is this Laravel? This is Blitz.js, which is it. It has commonalities with Laravel. It does. So Laravel is PHP, of course. Blitz.js is TypeScript world using React. Laravel, you don't have to use React. Blitz.js, you're always using React. Basically, it's not Laravel. Basically, it's not. But it has some code generation similarities. Does Prisma require running migrations? It does not require it. But it is a supported pattern. It is a supported pattern. So if you need to run migrations, you totally can. But if you, for some reason, don't want to do that, you don't have to. Cool, cool. Okay, so invalid. The table public party does not exist in the current database. Ooh, so this does not actually appear to even be a code error. This appears to be a problem. Remember earlier when I changed my database and it was like, hey, are you cool if we like flush your database? And I was like, no, because I'm going to make a second entity and it's going to have to flush again. Apparently, I might have forgotten to do it that second time. So I don't even think this is a code problem. I think this is a literal, like, tables in my database don't exist because I never created them. So here we are on Supabase, which is what we're using for the database. I have not refreshed my page yet, so this page is from yesterday. So you can see there is no table for party. There is no table for participant, right? Now I'm going to hit F5. Okay, let's see what happens. Might take it a second. And it's still not there. So the tables just literally don't exist. So imagine your code is working perfectly and your code goes over to your database and is like, hey, I want world peace. And your database is like, bro, that literally doesn't exist. You're going to get an error. You're going to get a 500 error, and that's totally expected and perfectly appropriate. That's what I meant by migration, syncing the schema with the DB. Yes, it's supported, but it's not, well, you eventually have to sync your DB somehow, but whether you use a migration to do that or not. So migrations, here, let me show you something. So migrations are a particular file pattern. So here, you can see these are migration files. There's migration.sql. And so you can see they're supported, and in a couple cases in the past I've used them, but I didn't make one today. But I could create a migration file if I want to. I could also just force push my schema without a migration file. That's another option available to me. In a commercial setting, that's often a bad idea. One exception is if you're working with a branch-based schema manager like PlanetScale. In that case, you can just push your schema, literally DB push. And you don't need to have migration files because on the database side, the equivalent of migrations is managed for you. Technically, they're not migrations, but it kind of does the same thing. It version controls your schema. That's the idea here in either case. Prisma supports both patterns. What am I going to do? I'm going to force push it, and I'm probably going to make a migration file because I'm not using anything like PlanetScale. But just to demonstrate that I don't need a migration file, let's just try and force push it right now. So Blitz Prisma DB push. I actually don't remember if this is correct. Blitz Prisma DB push. Yeah, you see that? Your database is now in sync with your Prisma schema. So I just pushed and let's go check it out. So I just pushed the schema without a migration file. Look at that. Now we have participant and party. Now here's the problem. If you're working with PlanetScale, that's totally fine. You just, because the database side created the version, right? But if you're working with Postgres and Supabase like I am, this is super scary. Because you just changed your remote production database and you have no traceability, you have no version control, you have no record. So this is super scary and dangerous. In development, I usually push till I'm ready to deploy, then I run my first migration. Yeah, and a lot of developers do this, and that's okay, right? That's okay. Prisma enables you to do that if you want. It'll also have, sometimes there's problems with migration files, and the point that Westcovey is making is, hey, migrations are difficult and tricky and they cause problems. Why don't I just have my database seeds, like just my database creation, be the only thing, and I'll just update that until I'm ready. And I just don't create migration files until I'm already in production and I actually have a need to do migration. Like, why do we have need to do migration is I want to safely alter my production database without harming the data that's in there. If you're in a development mode, you kind of don't care. You can just roll it over, roll it over, roll it over. And it's a lot easier to develop that way, right? Cool. I'm going to, all that said, I'm going to blitz prisma db. I think it's blitz prisma migrate dev. If you ever forget RTFM, read the docs. But I'm like 60% sure that's correct. Oh no, can't contact the database. The world is ending, right? Blitz prisma db pull blitz c execute. I don't know. Let me pull. So that's going to sync my local schema, but will it actually create a migration file? Run blitz prisma. Oh, what happened over here? Bro, what just happened? Hi.
I want to hug you.
Okay.
When you hug because I want my mom to give me a kiss.
Oh, ooh, fine.
But I still love you.
Mwah.
Mwah.
Bye.
Why are you using one of that light on here?
Because the other light went away. It's like broken or something. So I think this is the same schema. It's basically just like white space formatting changes and like moving properties so that they're in alphabetical order and stuff. Yeah, I really don't see any problems here.
Hey, I love you, Dad.
I love you, Sammy. Bye-bye.
I'll close the door for you, okay?
Okay, thanks.
You like the door closed, right?
Yeah.
Dad, is this broken?
Yeah, actually the door handle is a little bit broken. Okay, so, I mean, this looks fine to me. Warning, datetime fields were enriched with updated at information. I mean, I think that's fine, right? All of this looks fine to me. So we're going to continue. I'm not going to commit it yet because, like, nothing changed, so I really don't need to. What I want to do is create a participant and make sure that the participant status has the default value set as I expect. Okay, so let's refresh this page. Actually, I don't know if my server's running, sorry. Let's dev, let's run that server. We have our third kid on the way, congrats. By the way, if you're liking the video, please follow the page, hit the like button, and share it with somebody you know who thinks programming is cool. Rendering suspense fallback. Uh-oh, what happened? Okay, so we're over here. Oh, actually, I think it worked just fine. So it doesn't look like much, but there is the create party page, right? So let's create a party. Dadville, create the party Dadville. Oh golly, that looks scary. So what's going on here is that the default UI form to create an entity, which is provided by the Blitz framework, they hard code it currently. And I have an open issue on their repo, and maybe I should even implement the fix for them. I've contributed to them in the past. They only create the input for the field called name. Like regardless, even if your entity doesn't have a field called name. So all of the required fields are missing. We can see in my console. This is missing. This is missing. This is missing. This is missing. All right, so this create a party page, we need to basically like fix the form. I'm not super sure that I want to do that right now. Okay, we'll see if I can do it really quickly, but I'm not sure if I can do it really quickly. So look at the URL. This is parties/new. So we're going to go over to parties page. What I really want to do is get a participant working. But we'll go to parties new. DB pages, parties new. Okay? So here's the new parties page. Close others. And you can see where's the form? Form, party form, right here. You submit the party form and it literally takes the values and sends it to the mutation. That's great. Nothing wrong there. There's nothing wrong with this page. What's wrong is the form and the mutation. So you can see the form only has a name field. Need a magnifying glass for this. All right, let me zoom in. Boom. Maybe that helped. Hopefully it helped. So the form only has a name field, and the mutation only has a name property. There's a bunch of implicit magic with Rails. That's right. I use Rails in my day job, and Blitz is way better because it's explicit over implicit. That's Blitz versus Rails in a nutshell. Imagine Rails, but it was not magical. It's very clear what's going on at every step of the way. All right, so over here, 1, 2, 3, 4 missing fields, 5 fields total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have the 5 form elements. Now we need to name them all properly. What is being missed here? I'll just copy this from my console, paste it right here. Let's comment that. Okay. So creator. Creator we do not need to pass in the form. The creator is just going to be whoever's the logged in user. So I'm going to go throw that on the mutation, but we can calculate that implicitly. It doesn't need to be passed through the form. Does that make sense? Kind of funny because we were just talking about implicit logic in Rails and how like React World doesn't have implicit logic. And now we're going to do some implicit logic. Anywho, has gift stealing. Okay, this is another one. Has gift stealing. Has gift assignments. And assigned at. Assigned at should not be a required field. Assigned at should not be a required field. So that's actually a schema problem. And then there's also, it was notes or description, which is optional, but I want it. What is this application called again? I forgot where I am. This is Welephant. Welephant schema. Okay. So it is called party notes. Party notes. Cool. So we're going to change assigned at to be an optional date time. Okay. We're going to come over here to say, keep it kind of alphabetical, so name and notes. Has gift stealing should be after has gift assignments. And really, there's something to be said for alphabetical ordering, but there's also something to be said for user experience, which takes priority. And when we're creating a party, it's intuitive that name would be first. You name the party first of all. I guess all the other things are arguable in their order, but the name comes first. So we're going to put that name up there first. You're creating this party. You're going to name the party. And now you're going to do all these things. So we needed 1, 2, 3, 4. We needed 5 things. And then we added an optional one for a total of 6 things. There are 4 fields on here, and then 2 of them will be automatically calculated. So if it's required, I'll simply make assigned at null. So null by default. but I don't think I need to even assign that. I think I just needed to update the schema. What programming language is this? TypeScript. We love Zod. Yes, we do. Validation for the win. Is this object-oriented? No. We're in functional world. Welcome to Nirvana. Welcome to Nirvana. So here's the data input. Where's my validator? Is it pre-validated? Okay, I guess we got pre-validated. I guess that's kind of cool. Cool. So here is name. And then the other elements that I'm looking for, notes has gift assignments, has gift stealing. And Zod is another one of those things that comes for free in the Blitz.js framework, integrated to Blitz RPC, which is similar to React Query. Okay, so we have this Boolean, this string, and then we have another string optional. And maybe notes should not be optional, huh? Maybe it should just default to an empty string. That's way better, notes. So notes, you're not optional either. We're already having to update the schema. Let's go ahead and make 2 schema updates. We have to run a schema update anyway. What programming language are you using? TypeScript. It is not C#. Is it RStudio? No, this is VS Code. World's best IDE, VS Code. I'm going to say that notes is not optional because I think it's going to receive an empty string anyway. Now, I'm hovering over here and we can see that the type has been passed through. The type has been passed through. So I updated this Zod object so you can see import Z from Zod. We're creating party Zod object. Here's the party Zod object. You see how everything is explicit? There's a lot of stuff that's passed through. It's really convenient and ergonomic, but it's not mysterious. It's explicitly passed through. We have a resolver pipe. We're passing through the party. The party has been edited, and that is how the input validation is automatically, but not magically. It's automatically, but it's clearly, transparently, explicitly updated. What are you coding, bro? Welephant. It's called Welephant. Welephant. And you can check out GitHub/Welephant. Check out the README and learn all about it. Basically, it helps you throw a Christmas party, for example. You ever heard of Secret Santa? It's going to do that. So gift stealing is optional. So you can have, if you're stealing each other's gifts, we call that like a Secret Santa. If you're not, a lot of people would call that a white elephant gift exchange. That's where Welephant gets its name from, the white elephant. Can this language be used to make any simple games? Yes, it can. It can also be used to make incredibly complex games. Okay, so this is still giving problems. Oh, because we need the creator? Yeah. So I need to validate that you're signed in. I already have another component that does this, so let's do this again. I'm gonna go for wish list, maybe create wish list. Yeah. Something like this, basically. Okay. So I guess we'll skip that. We're gonna try to get context. So the Blitz resolver, if I'm not mistaken, gives us CTX. Yeah, you can see that is shorthand for the user context or the authenticated middleware. So this helps us know if you're logged in. What does it actually return? I'm not sure. It returns a Boolean, whether you're authorized. I simply want to know, let's see, your user ID. Hello, what are you creating? Welephant. You can check it out. It's publicly available. You can go to welephant.vercel.app to see the current production version. Right? This is the current production version. It's open source if you go to Vanderveer/Welephant, and then you can read more about what a white elephant gift exchange is here in the README. What it do, Poppy? Is this React? Basically, yes. So this is Blitz.js, which is a framework built on top of React. Look at this, dadville. So we have the same field over and over. We're going to change that, don't worry. Okay, so what I want to know is your user ID. And this is going to be session dot user ID, just like that. I'm going to go ahead and authorize you first. That'll prevent you from getting a goofy error, basically. Okay, so here we're going to do augmented, and that's going to be the input, and then plus some other stuff. Other stuff including user ID. So that's what we call augmenting. And you can see I'm destructuring two sub-objects, merging them, doing a shallow merge. It's important to know that that's a shallow merge. But in this case, the properties are primitive, so it's totally fine. And then down here, we'll pass augmented. Okay. The data needed to create a party. So it's giving you this really nasty error. How can we make the error kind of like more readable? We can do that by pulling out the specific party type. The expected type comes from property data, which is declared on this, party select or null or undefined, party include, without party create input, yada yada. What we want to do is the create input. It's going to be one of these two. Okay, so I'm going to type it as one of these two. Oops, yeah. Okay, so you can see augmented is one of these two. We need to import the definition. Oh no, it can't find it. That's because it is under the Prisma class. Prisma is containing our definitions. So you see, now I have a definition of the type. Okay, so now we can see that augmented is one of those. Augmented is one of those, and it's mad about assigned at. Remember how I'm wanting assigned at to be optional? Well, we need to go ahead and make that database update now because my type errors are going to continue to be mad at me until I fix that. So we're going to go over here. We're going to do blitz prisma generate. That should update my local types. Okay, we need to come back here and refresh the cache. So let's go over here, check Control F, assigned. I'm trying to confirm that it is now optional. So it's date or null, which is a new change. And now we can see the error has vanished. And now it's no longer mad at the whole party entity. Cool. So I think I can get rid of these comments. And we should be able to create a party now from a mutation perspective. We still need to fix the HTML form, the UI form. Before I do that, I want to blitz prisma db push because my local DB is good to go, but the remote DB is still goofy. Let's see if I can generate a migration. Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty uncomfortable that I don't have a like a local migration, but that's all right. Maybe I just blitz prisma migrate. Oh, diff, Prisma migrate diff. No, whatever. I think it's fine. I can always use the DB push thingy. Oh no! Dang it. See, I just screwed up my... I just screwed things up. Darn. Does that fix it, basically? We made assigned at optional. Is this like web development? Yeah, it is. We made assigned at optional and notes default empty string. Okay, so we're good. Let me go ahead and commit that before I wreck everything again. This is the new page. I guess we can finish up what we're doing so that we have one thing that is kind of like works when we commit it. So we fixed this schema. We fixed this mutation. Now we need to fix the party form. So here's the party form, right click, close others. Has gift assignments. This should not be a labeled text field. I want to go to where this is coming from and look for the other components. Here you can see form. I want to look for BOOL, Boolean. I'm not seeing it, right? Hooks, I'm not seeing it. At core components form. So I need to create a new component. So here we have labeled text field. I want to copy, paste. We're going to rename. This is going to be labeled Boolean field. Okay. So it'll no longer have, yeah, it has field name. Name is going to match to the, like the HTML name of the HTML form field, the input field, which is the key on the object from a JavaScript object perspective. Okay, so we're going to keep that. Label, we're going to keep a label. Type, we just don't need. You don't need to type anymore. Outer props, I don't know what it means. I guess they're just going to have a wrapper div, that's fine. Label props, yeah, that's fine too. So basically we drop type, which I wasn't using type anyway. This will say has gift assignments. Now there shouldn't be a placeholder. There should not be a placeholder. It will simply have a label, and we could do like a default checked, or like a checked by default. But I don't really need that. I can just have it unchecked by default and just not pass that. And this is has gift stealing. Boom. Okay. Thanks for all the follows, y'all. I'm going to split. It's almost 1 a.m. See you, Leslie. Thanks for being here. Quick reminder, if you're on TikTok, you can search my username on Twitch or YouTube and see the whole screen. Cool. So now we have these different fields. Oh, notes. I want that to be notes. And now let's go over. Let's dev. And we'll go look at the web page where previously it said like Dadville a bunch of times, right? So let's refresh this, and they should be different fields now. Name has gift assignments, has gift stealing, notes, create party. Right. So the only problem now is that these has gift assignments, has gift stealing should be checkboxes. They shouldn't be text fields. So we have labeled Boolean field that we're continuing to build. So this is labeled Boolean field props. Okay. Form state is submitting errors. We shouldn't any type this error. Yeah, that's true. Okay, and here we can see this is the input field. Yeah, so this is where we need to add type. And in this case, type will always be checkbox. I was expecting that to work. So here's the input labeled. Oh, okay. This says labeled text field still. Labeled Boolean field. Okay, so here's the form, and these will be Boolean fields. And let's go ahead and let's give it a checked by default. We'll say make that true. Okay. Labeled Boolean field, we can add the import. Okay. And we're going to give it this checked by default property. Or I'll just give it default true. I wonder if that flows through labeled text field is not defined. So here in the labeled Boolean field, I updated what it was called up here, but at the export time, it needs to be updated there also. Do you have YouTube, dude? Yes, I do. Check my bio, you can see the link, or you can search my same username on YouTube and find it. What language is this? TypeScript. Okay, and we can see these are goofed up, right? Why are they messed up? Let's go try and find out. Yeah, it's totally not working, huh? Input type checkbox. I think it's due to all this mamma jamma. Yep, there. Okay. So input JSX, that's the reason. This input JSX, that was applied to the field, the text field that we sort of just imported. So it's this JSX stuff. Okay. I don't know. What should I do? Just delete it? Let's see. What a stupid language. You do Python? I do. Yeah, I use Python in my day job. So we got the label. This all looks good. I think this is what I want to focus on commenting. So let's try that. I'm going to refresh the page, F5. And yeah, now they kind of look chill like that. Cool, so I'm going to just literally just delete the input styling. Maybe, let's see. Maybe I'll keep the, I can keep some of the stuff. I can keep the padding, margin, border. So let's try and see how this changes the game. It doesn't really do anything, right? Like, I mean, I don't have a problem with it, but yeah, that's, I guess, if I'm tabbing through, it's kind of useful. Let me see if I can still tab through if I delete this stuff. I really don't even notice it much. I guess it's like a slight padding difference. I guess I should keep it just for consistency. It doesn't really change the padding. let's go ahead and keep it. It's a slight spacing difference, but at least it'll have a little more consistency, I guess. Okay, so now we has gift assignments, has gift stealing. The other thing that I did is check it by default. So here, default is true. Default doesn't exist, so it's not recognizing that default on the intrinsic HTML. So I'll create my own. That's totally fine. And then I'll give that a default value of false if it lets me. It cannot have an initializer. Okay. Can I just make it optional? It says a semicolon was expected. Can I do that? Let's see if that worked. It does not. Oh, well, I didn't use it. But at least it did not error. That feels like kind of like good news. So we'll take this default, and if it does exist, input, and then we'll say checked equals, we'll Booleanize the default. Booleanize the default. Outer props. Where are the props coming from? Looks like it might be props.default. Yep, so there's that optional Boolean. If it's passed as true, we'll treat it as true. If it's not passed, we will implicitly make it false. And it looks like it's working. So the parties are going to have assignments by default. Okay. Still got some kind of error showing up on my console. Oh, maybe not. I guess it was old. Okay, so this will be like John's coding party. And then notes. Whoa, I have notes? Yeah, sure. I have notes. Create party. Did it work? It looks like it worked. All right. Let's go check the database over here. There it is, John's coding party. There's still a lot to do. For example, I have not linked this party to any participants. I have not invited anyone. But this is a really good pausing point, and I think that was a long enough stream. So we can save that for a different stream. So follow the page, tune in, and we'll take care of that next time.